G'day everyone, this is my review of Donatello vs Krang, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's in the style of the cartoon series, I guess. And this is a Nickelodeon set, and it's by NECA. So this is the 2-pack. I had to get this because I've limited myself to only collecting Donatellos from now on. So there we have Donatello in all his cartoon glory, and we have Krang in his little suit, and then we also get the bow staff, of course, a couple of spare hands, turtle communicator closed, turtle communicator open, and a tiny little stand for Kang to stand on as well. So let's go and have a look at the figures first, and then we'll have a look at some of the accessories. This is Donnie in all his glory. He looks really good. So he does look like the cartoon. He's got a little bit of dark green as well as the light green. He's got black highlights to give him that sort of cartoony style. He's got the bright purple and then the darker purple paint. Actually, the paint job on this is really good across the board. There's a little blemish there on his chest, but you'll see that there's the darker colours down the side to give it that cartoony type feel. There's the big D on the belt, which all the Ninja Turtles had on the TV show. There's the black lines, as I said, just to give you that sort of more cartoon type feel, and the two-toe feet, again with more highlights, and again you'll notice the colours on the back, so it's that two-shade sort of colouring from the actual comic cartoon, and then the back is the very basic shell with a place for the bow staff. So let's have a quick look at his articulation. Okay, so here we have Donatello. So firstly, let's see how tall he is. So he stands at about 130 mil. So he's not huge, but he's a good size for a turtle. So what we have, movement-wise, the head is on a ball joint, and the neck also has some movement to it, so you can get a sort of good tilt forward in both the neck. If you've just got to push the neck a bit hard, and then the head will turn both directions. The back of the tail is actually, it can rotate. It actually looks like it might come out, but you can sort of, you can have it up to the side if you want to. The shoulders are very tight. They go up to about that far. They roll forward, they roll back. They are hindered a little bit by the shell, but that's to be expected. But they were very tight out of the box. There's also a twist, and then the elbow, again, was very tight. The elbow is quite good. It's mostly covered by the little purple, and there is obviously a twist at the elbow as well. And then the hand twists, and there is also a rocker, but again, it is very tight to get that movement. So both arms are very tight out of the box. There is, I think, a torso bend, but it's hard to with the shell. So basically then the legs, obviously mine tends to, both legs tend to move at the same time. I don't know what that is, but he can lean, he can get the foot up to about there. The shell is actually a little bit flexible here, so it does allow sort of for the foot to come forward and goes back. It is a double knee, so he can touch the back of his shell. The little knee pads sort of cover up the bend there, but there is a bend at the knee on both the top and bottom, and then the ankle has a rocker and a twist on both of those ankles. As I said, for some reason it can actually go out, but it's a little tight. So we've got different joints there. I don't know why that's different to this one, but anyway. So that, the legs, as I said, the legs are quite good. He does stand up quite easily, although my knee does seem to be, this knee seems to be pointing inwards for some reason. But that is Donatello. Yeah, and as I said, there's not much. There appears to be a torso bend, but you can't really sort of get any rock there or anything like that. But he's still pretty well articulated for a character. You could be able to get him into some good poses. So he comes with, obviously, the bow staff, again in that cartoony style. Now this does actually come apart, so you can put it in his hand easily, and also into his holster on the back, and then just put it back together. But yeah, that is a nice bow staff. It has a nice little sort of bit of a bend to it, very cartoony looking, again with the sort of the black on the bandage there to make it look more like the cartoon. He also comes with two sort of slightly different hands. There's not much difference in them. Slightly looser grip. I guess these are for maybe holding the turtle communicators. So it does also obviously come with the turtle communicator opened up and the turtle communicator closed down. So I'm assuming that these might be a bit easier to fit into this hand. I'm not really sure. There's not much movement in those fingers, so I don't know how he's going to hold any of these things actually. Yeah, it's very tricky to get him to hold the communicator. You might just get it in that hand, yeah. So that's probably the best hand if you have him sort of, you know, calling April or calling one of the other turtles. That's probably the way to do it. So that is Donatello, and now let's have a quick look at Krang. Okay, so here we have Krang. So Krang is in his little walker, and the legs on that can rotate forward, they can rotate back, oh, they can actually go all the way around. There is also a joint here that can move backwards, and it can also move forward. So you could have sort of a walking pose, or you could sort of have it in that pose. The actual little things on the bottom here, the three-pronged, does actually twist around, so you can sort of turn it. There's no sort of rocker or anything like that, so it does have to stay on a flat surface, but it is good that it does have some movement there. Now the actual container itself, this actually lifts up. If we can get that open. So there, and then the trick for this is that Kang's arms just come out of there, and then we open up his little pod and we bring him out. So we'll set that in the background. So you'll see then that Krang is he's got a little thing in the base there to sit on, but he just has the two sockets on either side. So he's got the paint again with little black lines to give him that cartoony look. He does look really like the cartoon actually. And then his two little tentacles can be plugged back in if you want him in the brain outside the container. And then obviously he has this little base which you can wedge in there, and he can then sit like that independent of his little walker unit. So yeah, so overall Krang, it's a nice little sculpt. There's some detail inside here, there's a couple of little tubes, and there's some, you know, little doors underneath. They all look like they're going to open, but they don't. And then there's some really good detailing on the back as well. I think the whole little sculpt, and as I said, with those black highlights, that does really look like the cartoon. So that is his little suit of armour, and that is Krang.